In 2020, BYD's engineers took a fully charged battery pack and drove a steel nail straight through it. Nothing happened. No fire, no smoke, not even a temperature spike. Then they did the same test to a conventional lithium battery, the kind Tesla uses in most of its cars. Within seconds, it burst into a 2,000-degree fire. Same lithium, same voltage, completely different outcomes. The difference isn't a safety feature bolted on. It's the chemistry itself. And once you understand it, you'll never look at an EV battery the same way. Let me show you. Every lithium battery has the same basic parts. A positive electrode, called the cathode, a negative electrode, called the anode, and a liquid electrolyte that lets lithium ions move between them. When you charge the battery, lithium ions travel from cathode to anode. When you drive, they travel back. That's it. That's the whole system. The interesting part is what the cathode is made of, because that choice changes everything. Most Teslas, most Hyundais, most Volkswagens use a cathode called NMC. It stands for nickel, manganese, and cobalt. This chemistry is fantastic at one thing: storing energy. NMC cells hit around 250 watt-hours per kilogram. That means light packs and long range. But NMC has a dark secret. When it overheats above roughly 180 degrees Celsius, it starts breaking down. And when it breaks down, it releases oxygen. You know what needs oxygen to burn? Fire. So when an NMC cell fails, whether from a crash, a manufacturing defect, or something puncturing it, the reaction feeds itself. The cell heats up, oxygen releases. The oxygen fuels a flame. The flame heats the neighboring cells, which release more oxygen, which fuel bigger flames. This is called thermal runaway, and it's why EV fires are so dramatic and so hard to extinguish. You can't smother them. The battery is generating its own oxygen. Firefighters spray water for hours just to keep the pack cool while it burns itself out. Now let's look at what BYD did differently. BYD uses a cathode called LFP, lithium iron phosphate, chemical formula LiFePO4. The phosphate part is the key. Phosphorus and oxygen are bonded together in a way chemists call a PO covalent bond. And that bond is incredibly stable. Way more stable than the metal-oxygen bonds in NMC. To break a PO bond, you need much more heat. LFP thermal runaway threshold is around 270 degrees Celsius, almost 100 degrees hotter than NMC. And here's the important part. Even when LFP finally does break down, it doesn't release free oxygen. The phosphorus holds onto it. No oxygen means no self-feeding fire. The reaction can't sustain itself. The cell might heat up, might vent gas, but it doesn't turn into a 2,000-degree inferno. That's why BYD could drive a nail through their fully charged pack and get nothing. The mechanical damage caused a short circuit, sure, but without free oxygen, the short circuit just dissipated as heat instead of igniting. So if LFP is safer, why doesn't everyone use it? Because there's a trade-off. LFP stores less energy per kilogram, around 160 watt-hours per kilogram versus 250 for NMC. That's roughly 30% less. For the same range, an LFP pack has to be bigger and heavier. That means more raw materials, more cost, and slightly worse handling. For years, that trade-off pushed premium EV makers toward NMC. Range sells. Safety is invisible until something goes wrong. But things are changing. First, Tesla started putting LFP cells from CATL into the Model 3 standard range back in 2021. Ford is using LFP in the Mach-E standard range. Volkswagen is rolling out LFP in the ID.2 and upcoming entry models. Mercedes announced LFP for the CLA Electric. Every major manufacturer is now offering LFP in their entry-level EVs. The math finally makes sense. Battery prices dropped, LFP energy density improved, and consumers started caring about fire safety. There's another advantage nobody talks about. LFP handles fast charging better in the long term. NMC cells degrade faster when you regularly charge to 100%. LFP doesn't care. You can charge it to full every single day for a decade without significant degradation. That's why Tesla actually recommends charging LFP Model 3s to 100% while telling NMC owners to stay around 80. So which chemistry wins? Neither. It depends on what you value. If you want maximum range and don't mind charging to 80%, NMC still wins. If you want maximum safety, longevity, and lower cost, LFP is now the obvious choice. The real answer is that in 5 years, most EVs sold globally will use LFP. And the technology that started with BYD driving nails through batteries will become the industry standard. Which is kind of poetic. The safer technology won not because regulators forced it, but because consumers realized what BYD engineers knew a decade ago. Sometimes the boring chemistry beats the sexy one. Next week, I'm looking at something that's been bugging me since I started this channel. Why an electric motor doesn't need a gearbox, while a gasoline engine needs 10 forward gears just to work. The answer involves torque curves, physics, and one of the biggest engineering advantages EVs have that almost nobody talks about. New videos every Wednesday. Subscribe if you want the full engineering breakdown when it drops.